Okay, so let's start. So today we are talking about the form I-20. That is what we want to talk about. And so have time and let's delve into the nitty-gritty of the form I-20. When we say the form I-20, what is it? So the form I-20 is a multi-purpose document. This is a multi-purpose document issued by a U.S. government-approved educational institution that certifies that a student has been admitted to a full-time study program and has demonstrated sufficient financial resources to stay in the United States. So it is actually and officially called Certificate of Eligibility because it allows an individual to apply for an F1 student visa at a U.S. embassy or a consulate. So those of us who came from Africa, Ghana, we had to actually go to the U.S. Embassy in Accra, Cantonment for our U.S. visa. So you use the form I-20 and they'll give you the visa after you have passed through the interview. So as of October 12, 2021, the US Department of Homeland Security allows I-20 to be signed and distributed electronically by designated school officials. So as of 2021, October 12, the US government gave a permission for the schools to actually sign the I-20 electronically without actually sending the hard copy. So that is what it is. So how can one obtain this I-20 that we are talking about? How can you obtain this I-20? So once you are admitted to your program, you will need to apply to the International Center for your I-20. Once the International Center receives your complete application, an advisor creates a record for you in the US government service, the Service Student and Exchange Visitor Information System database. Once your service record is created, the International Center will be able to create and print a form I-20 for you. With your I-20, you can then apply for an F1 student visa at a US consulate. So that is what I have explained. Let's go to, so what are the main points about Form I-20? There are several things you have to know about the Form I-20. So the Form I-20, as you can see, it has a service ID. Some people call it service, others call it service. So depending on your English teacher, you'll be able to actually know the pronunciation. So the service number, this is the service number, the service ID, and it's very important because it actually helps you to apply using this number to fill in your DS-160 and also your CGI portal. So the first section of this page comprises of the surname of the individual, the given name, then the preferred name that you want, the passport name, the name of the passport on the passport, the country of birth where you were born, the country of citizenship. So if you have naturalized in other country, you have to still add it, date of birth, then admission number the school provide for you, form issued reason. It will also be given whether you are coming for graduate school or you are coming for bachelor's or even high school. The second section of the Form I-20 is the school information. So it contains the school name, the school address, where the school is, and the school official to contact upon arrival. These people are called DSO, the designated school official. And so these are the people the school are designated for them to actually lead you into the States. So this is the person you have to contact upon arrival. When you reach the States, you have to submit all your documents to this person for him or her to process a new I-20 for you, and also give you certain documents for you to go into the Social Security Center for the Social Security number, so that your funding can begin to come into your account, into your bank account. Then the school code and approval date. So all these things will be given by the school. The program of study is the third section of the Form I-20. So it gives the education level. Either you are coming for bachelor's, you are coming for master's or you are coming for PhD, it actually gives the category for that. Then what are your majors? What is the major? So we have major 1 and major 2. Major 1, major 2. So the major 1, it could be history and philosophy of science. The major 2 can be none, or you can add maybe as or something like that to it. So the next session is the next part of the program of study, the program English proficiency. Is it required? Yes, most of the countries in the US actually require English proficiency. Nowadays, they have waived GRE, they have waived TOEFL, they have waived all the other English proficiencies. And so once you apply with your English proficiency from your university or your secondary school, they just actually give you the admission. So English proficiency notes the student is proficient or not. They have to state it the earliest admission date. That is very important because if you reach the states before your earliest admission date, you might not be allowed to enter into the states. So you have to take care of that. Start of classes, that is the day classes will start. The program start date and the start end. So if you are coming for, let's say, masters, which is 2 years, you are starting in somewhere, let's say January 2024. It means that you complete in somewhere January or February 2026. And so you have to pay attention to the program start date. The next section is the financials. It gives the estimated average cost for 9 months. Estimated average cost for 9 months. So it will state your tuition and other fees, living expenses, expenses of dependents and others. Then there is also student funding. So what are you giving a scholarship or is a personal funding? So here it is stated personal funding. So the personal funding is $19,000. Funds from this school. This person, if it's just a sample, so there was no funding given by the school. Funds from another source, there is none. On-campus employment, there is none. So the total cost of attendance is $19,000. That is the total cost of attendance. So this is the remarks. You have to sign here and give you an authentication of approval. So we also see that the next section is the school attestation. So this is the school's attestation. I satisfy that you, the person who is applying, the signature should be here and the name should be here. So you sign here, then you write your name here. So the date issued. No, the school's attestation is from the school. It is from the school. It is not you, the individual who is actually applying. It is from the school. It is from the school. So the school has to sign there, and the designated school official should sign at the signature portion. Then the student attestation, you have to sign, and also your guardian or your parents must also sign, provide the signature and the address and the dates. Yes. So let's pay attention to that. So the service number is very important. So it is at every session of the form I-20. So this is the form I-20. This section actually employment authorization. If the student has been given an employment on campus, you have to actually provide all those information. And so those information will be stated if maybe the college has given you some funding and they want you to do certain job. They'll provide all your duties and the date and everything here for you. Okay, so who is in? Are there questions? So we're explaining the Form I-20. And you're welcome. Your questions are welcome. So your questions are mostly welcome. You can submit your questions and they will be answered. Okay, so I'm here and ready for your questions. So we have Emmanuel asking question that you talk about the student's attestation. Please, parents only sign when the applicant is below 18 years. Thank you. So the question, I don't know if it is a question or a comment. So what I want to say is that if you are actually applying for your visa, the I-20, there is a space provided for parents or guardians. So especially sometimes the person who is sponsoring you, the person who has the person has given you the bank statement, that person must sign at that section. So that is it. You have to actually sign. if you are above 21, above 18, you have to still sign. So that is it. That is it. It's not actually those who are below 18, but even if you are above 18, that section of the I-20 must be signed. Your guardian or your parents must be signed. The person who is sponsoring your school. Even if you have a full funding, the person must still sign, because the plane tickets or maybe your stay, you still need some few certain things, and so there is still an option for that person who provided the bank statement to sign there. And everybody also has a parent, so that parent can also sign there. Thank you. So we have another one. Desmond is asking, how critical will it be if an individual can't record the exact information on the I-20 before the visa officer? So it will be very, very critical that you forget the information which have been provided on the form I-20, because those are the things that they will look on and ask you questions. So they will look on the form I-20, then they will also look on the DS-160 form to ask you questions. And mostly the information on the I-20 has been transferred on the DS-160. So it is very important that you learn everything detail on your I-20. If you forget certain information, remind yourself before getting into the visa officer's window. If not, then if you are not able to answer correctly what is in your DS-160 or your I-20, then that is a complete denial. So we don't want that one to happen, and so you have to pay attention to each of the information on the form. Okay, so let's continue. I've mentioned several things about the form I-20, and so we want to continue. So the barcode was there is this barcode on it. That is the service ID. As I said, you have to pay attention to that. So how can I get an I-20 form? I-20 form is a multi-purpose, as I said already, and so the school will give it to you. But how do you do it? As part of the F1 visa procedure, once your institution has completed the admission process, it will collect the necessary financial support information and identity proof. So they will send you a link where you will fill in your name, your other information, and sometimes upload your passport, the cover, the bio data of your passport. You upload that so that they will gain all the information that they need. Then you also have to upload your bank statement and other documents, like sometimes either the transcript or the certificate, so that they can actually give you the I-20. The second part is that your name and your biographical information will be submitted to this service, the Student and Exchange Visitor Information System, a US government database. So that is what they will do. They will send those information that you have given it to the school to the US government database. The service will process the data and generate an I-20. So that is how I-20 is generated. The university official or the DSO will print, sign, and deliver the form I-20 to you. So that is how it is done. They will send it sometimes 2 weeks. Mostly they will tell you 2 weeks, but some schools within 3 days. I think I quite remember mine was obtained within 3 days. And so when I submitted all my documents within 3 days, they sent me the form I-20. So I used it to apply for my visa. So that is how the DSO does it. If any information has to be changed, the DSO will submit this request to CBIS, to the service, in order to generate a new form. So as I've said a lot about the form I-20 requirement. To obtain the I-20 form from the university DSO, check that the following criteria are met. The application for admission must be accepted by the university, that is it. Then the institution must affirm that the student has the financial means to pay the tuition fees as well as the cost of living in the United States for the duration of his or her program of study. It should also validate that the student's personal information is correct. Then also the bank statement. So the bank statement to be issued, for the I-20 to be issued, students must transmit a copy of their bank statements. Nowadays, this day and age, a lot of people are giving people fake bank statements. So if you are getting a bank statement from somebody, a third party, I mean not your parents, not your uncle, not your maybe brother or sister, you have to verify, because people have been banned for 10 years because of fake bank statements. So pay attention to that. So any details such as bank account number, address, account type, account balance, and all other information must be visible and true to the best of the visa applicant's knowledge. That is it. So I think let me go back to the questions and see if we have more questions. So I think this one is saying, thank you for sharing this with us. What do you do after getting the I-20 form? We will do this next week, but I want to still go through certain things. Next week, we will go through the DS-160 form. So what do? You have to fill the form DS-160. After you have collected your I-20, you have to actually fill your DS-160. DS-160 gives the information about you. Almost everything on the I-20 will be transferred to the DS-160. That one you are filling it. So you look on the I-20, then you fill the DS-160. So the DS-160 form also provides all of the following information that the visa officer may require during your interview. Primarily, it requires the personal information, education information, work specific details. So those are the things that they require. Then you make an appointment for your US visa, then you pay your service fees, then you go to the consular for your interview. So those are the things that are done. Hello, so I'm waiting for more of your questions. Okay, so if there are no more further questions, we will pause here and continue next time. Thank you very much.